I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting relationship drama on Reddit, but here I am. 3 weeks ago, my girlfriend of 2 years, Mia, sat me down for what she called an important talk. My stomach dropped immediately. Those words are never the precursor to good news. I've been doing a lot of thinking, she began, tucking her hair behind her ear like she always does when she's nervous. I feel like I need some space to figure things out. About us, about what I want. I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. We've been planning a trip to Costa Rica for months. We just had dinner with my parents the weekend before. Everything seemed fine. What's going on? I asked. Did something happen? She shook her head. It's not about anything specific. I just feel overwhelmed. With work, with life decisions, with everything. I need some time to get my head straight. Looking back, I should have pushed harder, asked more questions. But I was raised to respect boundaries, and if someone says they need space, you give it to them. So I nodded, told her I understood, and asked how much time she needed. A few weeks, maybe, she said vaguely. Please don't call or text. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying our relationship in my head. Had I missed warning signs? Was there someone else? I didn't think so. Mia had always been straightforward, sometimes brutally honest. If there was another guy, she would have told me. Or so I thought. The first week was hell. I kept reaching for my phone to text her about random things, a funny billboard I saw, a new restaurant that opened near her apartment, a dog that looked exactly like the one we'd talked about getting someday. Each time, I'd remember her request and put my phone away, feeling the loss all over again. My friends tried to distract me. She'll come around, they insisted. Everyone needs space sometimes. I threw myself into work and hit the gym more often than usual, trying to keep my mind occupied. Then came the Instagram notification. I'd been good about not checking her social media. That felt like an invasion of the space she'd requested. But when my phone lit up with her username and the words "posted for the first time in a while," my willpower crumbled. The photo showed Mia on a beach, cocktail in hand, looking happier than I'd seen her in months. The caption read, "Needed this getaway more than I knew. Hashtag Puerto Vallarta, hashtag spontaneous trips." I frowned. Puerto Vallarta? That was where we talked about going before deciding on Costa Rica instead. She'd always wanted to go there. Then I swiped to the second photo and felt my world collapse. There she was again, this time with her arm around a guy I recognized immediately, Ryan, her ex from college. The one she dated for 3 years before me. The one she'd assured me was ancient history. They were watching the sunset, glasses of wine raised in a toast, both grinning like they didn't have a care in the world. My phone slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. I didn't move to pick it up. For a solid minute, I just sat there, unable to process what I was seeing. The timestamp showed the photos were posted 2 hours ago, but the geotag suggested they'd been there for at least 3 days already. 3 days of her finding herself meant poolside margaritas with her ex. 3 days of my respecting her need for space meant she was free to rekindle whatever was left of their relationship. I called my best friend, Danny. "Dude," was all I managed to say before my voice cracked. "What happened? Are you okay?" I explained about the photos, my words tumbling out in a confused mess of anger and hurt. "That's messed up," Danny said after a long pause. "Want me to come over?" 20 minutes later, we were sitting on my couch, beers in hand. Danny scrolled through the Instagram post, his expression darkening with each swipe. "There's more," he said, showing me the fourth photo I hadn't gotten to. Mia and Ryan on a boat, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her waist. Intimate, comfortable, like they'd never been apart. "Maybe it's not what it looks like," Danny offered, though his tone suggested he didn't believe that any more than I did. Maybe they ran into each other down there? Coincidence? I shook my head. In the exact place she always wanted to visit? After she specifically asked me not to contact her? That's one hell of a coincidence. The realization hit me like a wave. She'd planned this. This space she needed wasn't about self-reflection. It was about spending time with Ryan without having to worry about me calling or texting. The thought made me physically ill. Should I confront her? I asked, already knowing the answer. "Not yet," Danny advised. "Wait till she comes back. See if she tells you the truth. Then decide what to do." He was right, of course. Sending an angry text now would only give her the moral high ground. I'd be the controlling boyfriend who couldn't respect her boundaries, even though those boundaries were apparently just a smokescreen for cheating. The next few days passed in a blur. I couldn't focus at work. I couldn't sleep. Every notification sent my heart racing, thinking it might be Mia finally reaching out. But she maintained radio silence, even as more vacation photos appeared on her Instagram. None with Ryan this time, but the damage was done. Then, 6 days after the first post, my phone rang with Mia's ringtone. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won out. "Hey," she said, sounding relaxed, refreshed, like someone returning from vacation. Hey, I replied, trying to keep my voice neutral. How was your space? Good. Really good, she said. I feel much clearer now. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? There's something I want to talk to you about. I agreed, setting a time at a cafe equidistant between our apartments. After hanging up, I sat staring at my phone, wondering what her angle was. Would she confess about Ryan? Make up some story about a spontaneous trip with girlfriends? Or would she pretend the whole thing never happened, assuming I hadn't seen the photos? Danny thought I should play dumb. Let her talk herself into a corner before confronting her with what I knew. Part of me wanted to do exactly that. But another part, the part still reeling from the betrayal, wanted to walk into that cafe and lay it all out immediately. I didn't sleep that night. By the time morning came, I'd made my decision. I arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early and chose a table in the corner. I wanted to see her face when she walked in, gauge her expression before she noticed me. The place was busy with the morning rush, but I barely registered the noise around me. My mind was racing, rehearsing what I might say, how I might react. Mia walked in right on time, scanning the room until she spotted me. She smiled, that same warm smile that had made me fall for her in the first place, and my resolve nearly crumbled. She looked tanned, rested, happier than she'd been in months. Thanks to Ryan, apparently. Hey, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Thanks for meeting me. Of course, I replied, watching her closely. She seemed nervous but excited, like someone with news they can't wait to share. I got you a latte, I said, pushing the cup toward her. Still 2 pumps of vanilla, right? Something flickered across her face, surprise, maybe guilt, before she composed herself. You remembered. I remember a lot of things, I said quietly. She took a sip of her coffee, then set it down carefully. So, I know the past few weeks have been weird. I'm sorry about asking for space so suddenly. I needed to figure some things out. In Puerto Vallarta? The words escaped before I could stop them. Her eyes widened slightly. You saw my Instagram. Hard to miss, I said, keeping my voice level despite the anger bubbling up inside. Looks like you had a great time. With Ryan. Mia's face flushed. It's not what you think. Really? Because it looks like you lied about needing space, so you could vacation with your ex without me bothering you. That's not fair, she protested, but her eyes couldn't meet mine. Ryan and I ran into each other at a conference last month. We got talking and... Save it, Mia, I cut her off. If you wanted to get back with your ex, you could have just broken up with me. You didn't have to lie. I wasn't sure what I wanted. Her voice rose slightly before she glanced around and lowered it again. Ryan reached out about the trip, said it was just as friends. I knew you'd never understand if I told you. You're right. I wouldn't understand my girlfriend taking a romantic beach vacation with her ex as friends while telling me not to contact her. I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. What happened to honesty being the foundation of our relationship? Wasn't that your big thing? Tears welled in her eyes. I messed up. I know that. But being with Ryan made me realize something important. She reached across the table for my hand. I pulled back. Ryan helped me understand what I really want, she continued. And it's not him. I almost laughed. Let me guess. It's me? You spent a week with your ex and magically realized I'm the one you want to be with. Yes, she said simply. Ryan and I have history, but that's all it is, history. Being with him again showed me how much I've grown, how much better what we have is. Part of me wanted to believe her. A pathetic, desperate part that still loved her despite everything. But then I remembered the photos, her head on his shoulder, their easy intimacy, and my heart hardened. So Ryan gets a vacation fling, and I get, what? The privilege of taking you back after you cheated? We didn't sleep together, she insisted. Nothing happened. We shared a suite, but... You shared a room? I stood up abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. I can't do this, Mia. I respected your boundaries. I gave you the space you asked for. And all along, it was just a cover for this. Please, she begged, tears now streaming down her face. It was a mistake. I know that now. These past few days made me realize how much I love you, how much I don't want to lose you. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. The woman I'd fallen in love with wouldn't have done this. The woman crying in front of me was someone else entirely. Goodbye, Mia, I said quietly. I hope you figure out what you really want someday. As I walked out of the cafe into the bright morning sunlight, I felt lighter somehow. The anger was still there, the hurt too raw to ignore. But beneath it all was relief. Relief that I'd found out now, before we'd gone any further. Before I'd asked her the question that had been sitting in my sock drawer for the past month, nestled in a small velvet box. Sometimes, the space you think will break you ends up saving you instead. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.